Tonight on Pia.
I was singing in my first band in grade 7, you know, and I was sneaking out to do that.
It was the greatest time of my life, the innocence of the music, and it was the beginning, you know, it was, here we go.
So I got a call back about 15 minutes later, and they said, would you like to do the Calgary game next week?
At that party, some people from CBC were there. It just snowballed, snowballed, snowballed.
I'm the one guy on the artist side, the only guy on the artist side.
Hi, I'm Jerry Doucette, and you can catch me on the Pia Show. Yeah.
This is going to be fun. Music is what feelings sound like. Music is the mathematical formula of life, the universal language of mankind. What a privilege it must be to be talented at music. I've wished for that all my life, but to no avail, sadly. Musicians seldom achieve financial success, but they do have that great gift, the ability to hear and to make music. Who could ask for anything more? There's always been musicians and many different kinds of music, but one thing's for sure, a passion for music begins at a very early age. Music waits for no one. Dennis Simpson, founding member of the Nylons, remembers his first musical, the hippie epic Hair. Mark Donnelly charts his journey from hockey-loving kid to the guy who sings the national anthem at NHL games. 60s rock icon Jerry Doucette remembers being a kid in rock and roll and shares some of his new music with us. Jazz singer Don Stewart talks about how his mother inspired his love of music and taught him how to sing.
My mother always encouraged me to sing.
I started playing when I was 6. When I was 8, I took a couple of years lessons, but it's all by ear. You know, I taught myself how to play.
I'd make my sisters and brothers, everybody go crazy because I would sing the answers. I'd sing it all the time.
When I was in elementary school, I didn't care to sing much.
I used to come home from school and I'd hear this music, and I'd go to the house and I'd hear it more and more. And they had those little warehouses, the little windows, you know, on the ground level. And the curtain would be open about that much. And I could see in there, and I could see the reefers were playing.
My brothers had fun doing musicals in high school, so I thought I'll try out for the chorus.
I went to York University in the theater arts program the first year they had it there, and we were told not to audition for 4 years.
He had us singing in a circle, and we're singing one of the songs from the show, and he stops beside me, and then he points like this, like he wants me to sing louder. So I sing louder, and then he keeps pointing, so I sing louder, and I wind up getting the part of Scrooge.
I auditioned for Hair, the original company of Hair, and how ironic. And then I got into Hair.
I was singing in my first band in grade 7, you know, and I was sneaking out to do that.
I'm sick in bed, and my dad brings them in, and I realized, my God, it's Randy and Joe. I wasn't sick anymore because I realized they wanted me to come and be their lead guitar player. I mean, lead guitar player, huh? 11, what did you know, you know?
I sang for a dinner on St. Patrick's Day for the Friendly Sons of Ireland. And the guest of honor was Jeff Barrett, the president of the Wilkes-Barre-Scranton Penguins.
I said, yeah, and Mom was no. Mom was staunch Roman Catholic, you know? No.
So I called them up in August, and the fellow there told me, he says, oh, you're Mark Donnelly? I said, yes. He said, oh, well, Jeff said you're singing the anthem for the season. If you could come by and pick up your season tickets. And so it's like, okay, well, that was a pretty good audition.
Me, I'm 11. I go, come on, Mom. You know, it's what I've always wanted, you know. And who knows what you want when you're 11, but, you know, that's what I wanted. Sure enough, I joined the Reefers.
One of the teams that came in was the Syracuse Crunch, and Stan Smeal was the coach. So, of course, when I was a kid, I watched Stan Smeal play with the New Westminster Bruins, and with Punch McLean as the coach. At this time, I knew that we were going to be moving back to Vancouver. So I said, you know, I am going to be moving back to Vancouver, and I was wondering if there's any way that I could audition for the Canucks.
We rehearse like almost every other day for like 6 months, so we can play at this here town, our town, Amherstburg. We close the streets off, and you know, we're to play. We're the featured band.
Finally, in January, I call the Canucks up and I say, I was just wondering what you thought of my tape. And the fellow at the other end said, can I call you back? Because not sure if they had listened to it or not. So I got a call back about 15 minutes later, and they said, would you like to do the Calgary game next week?
They introduced me. I came on stage. I walked across stage and tripped over the electric power and knocked all the power went off, right?
Best of times, I can't even say it was the worst of times. I mean, Hair in 1969, when it was really happening.
After that, we plugged in and we kicked. You know, that was my first time on stage, right? So
We'd start playing these good clubs, and then we ended up in Toronto at the Village, right? Playing the Owl's Nest. We used to play the Hawk's Nest. I remember Ronnie Hawkins standing there with the band, before they were the band, and you know, it's Ronnie Hawkins and Dee and the Omen, the Stitch in Time, all these great bands from back east, right?
We were hippies. I was a hippie, and I think part of my mentality is still that. I'm a hippie at heart. Peace, love, and groovy. Make love, not war. Really.
It was the greatest time of my life, the innocence of the music, and it was the beginning, you know, it was, here we go.
Vancouver's ultimate variety. Virgin. Virgin Radio 953. Virgin Radio, Vancouver.
The stars step out with MC Red Robinson leading the way, all to benefit the Zajac Ranch for Special Needs Children. For tickets, call 604-739-0444 or 604-629-8849. December 5th at the Arts Club Greville Island.
Vancouver's ultimate variety. Virgin. Virgin. Virgin Radio 953. Virgin Radio, Vancouver.
Once you start learning music, living your life for music, your career starts to take shape, step by step, one note at a time. You get a lucky break. You exploit it passionately. You find yourself in the right place at the right time. And sometimes you just win a contest.
There was a contest at a place in Yorkville which had gentrified by then. A contest called Sing for Your Supper. And the four of us got up and we sang for our supper, which was, I remember, quiche and salad.
We won a contest that was out of Detroit, first Canadian group to do that.
We won the contest, got our quiche, real men that we were, not, ate the salad, and somebody in that very, very tiny audience was having a house party. Some well-appointed person invited us to their party to sing 2 or 3 songs.
We used to go back and forth across the border, and so they, all we had to do, at that time, we didn't even have to pull out our birth certificates. All we had to do was hit a little harmony, and they said, let us go. Because we used to go back and forth all the time, so we used to just sing, and they used to let us go back across. Of course, you can't do that now.
at that party, some people from CBC were there. It just snowballed, snowballed, snowballed.
The Canucks won 2 games in Detroit, and everybody thought, okay, we're on the road to the Cup now. And so they came back, and I was singing those first 2 games.
I was starting to write, and I needed more than just, you know, 6 nights in a nightclub, you know. And the word got around that, oh yeah, this is guy Jerry, this guitar gunslinger, oh, you got to hear him, oh man, he's really cool, yeah, blah, blah, blah. I'm just leaning up on the wall, listening to some band playing, and during the break, Keith walks up to me, he says, Jerry, you have songs, are you? I said, yeah, I got some songs. He says, well, you want to record some? I said, sure, I'd love to, right? He says, well, come on in the Mushroom.
I suggested, one way or the other, hold the mic out to the crowd. It wasn't a ridiculous idea, because we knew that the crowd was singing with us, or with me. So I said, okay, I'll give it a shot. In like 2 seconds, all of a sudden, it's like the whole arena figured it out. And then the roar in the singing just rose. And it worked, and that's how it started.
My dad, when I was taking lessons, right, I'd pick up my guitar, do your lesson, I'd do my lesson faithfully, and I'd put it down, and that'd be it, right? And I'd start just getting into the boogie, right? Well, Mom, being a staunch Catholic, would come in there and let me have it. You can't do that. So one day, Dad's working shift at Stelco in Hamilton, of course. We woke him up because Mom and I were arguing. So he comes through the door and he blasts through the door and he goes, Mama, let him play. So I remembered that when I was here in Vancouver, just homesick, you know, and Mama, let him play. I wrote it down, Mama, let him play, the song title, Mama, let him play. And I left it for about a week. I came back and I looked at the title and I went, and an hour later, it was down the way you hear it on the record.
Jazz is much too crazy. He can play it when he's old. He's too young for the blues. He's still inside his first pair of shoes. He's just a baby.
Music is more than just singing the song. Music is also a business. In Canada, no one has been more successful at this business than Uber manager Bruce Allen, a no-nonsense kind of a guy with a big vision and a strong point of view. People think of him as a tough guy, but hey, he's the guy you want in your corner. BTO, Bryan Adams, Michael Bublé, they've all gotten rich and famous on the Bruce Allen formula. But there's a side to Bruce that not everybody knows about. Raised in the Dunbar area by a hardworking single mother, Bruce has always been a strong supporter of independent women. For instance, he took on singer Anne Murray at the supposed end of her career because he considered her an icon who was not getting any financial benefit from her long and brilliant career.
To tell you how iconic a woman like that is it got put together that she was going to give me a phone call, and she phoned me at home. And my wife at the time answered the phone and said, hello? And this woman said, excuse me, is Bruce Allen there? And she said, and because you know that voice, she said, as a Canadian, just a minute, Anne, I'll get him. And she came into the room and she said, Anne Murray's on the phone. I said, really? And picked up the phone and away we went. And I was very straight with Anne, and I thought Anne was, in her later years, was handled horribly. I thought that she was the person who had to bring in all the money to support the thing underneath her, right? Where I changed it around where I said, listen, you're going to make the money, you're going to take the money home, you're going to put it in your pocket, because you know you're now a certain age that your career is not on the upswing. But we have to now go out there, do a good job, not ruin your image and maybe make it better, but we got to make sure the money stays in your pocket now, because you're not 22 anymore.
Helping out Anne Murray was not just a one-off for Bruce. He also took on this restructuring managerial role for the mature Jan Arden, whose career he felt had plateaued out. He wanted her to regain some RESPECT and shake things up a bit.
Because I've known her for 20 years. I've always thought she's been mishandled. I thought she's got into a rut. I thought she's another entertainer. She's got so many things. She can talk. She's a comic. She can do this and that. And I just thought we can build a better show around her to show off all those attributes. She wasn't doing that before. She was doing the same show, singing the same maudlin songs, you know, that she's such a contrast because she's so funny, but these songs are so sad. It's the weirdest thing, right? You know, so we've put some more stuff into the show. We've changed the band around a lot, and I've got her in the studio now with Bob Rock doing a record today that she has to do for this new DVD we're putting out. Bob Rock does Metallica. Bob Rock does Motley Crue. Bob Rock does Bush. Bob Rock does all these acts. Now he's doing this Jan Arden project just for this thing, and she's sitting there blown away by what's going on because she got complacent too. She got, you know, this is what I am. I go across the country, pick up some money. I wait another 8 months, go across the country again. We're getting her into radio. She's got a radio show now. We got a book coming out. We'll pay her. We won't beat her to death going across the country because I don't need her to go across the country just so I can get a commission. And she can take more of the money home. She had an organization she was propping up that didn't know anything, blanks, you know. You watch these people, after they all leave Jan Arden, where are they? Well, they're back as a greeter at Walmart or someplace in a restaurant. You know, I mean, they weren't really doing much for her, but she was paying them all the time.
Of course, Bruce is known for building stars like Bryan Adams and Michael Bublé, who's currently taking the world by storm. Bruce is the guy behind the scenes when the mob is cheering for their newly minted stars. He's the one person who stands between the artist and the pitfalls of fame.
If I look at the biggest stars I've ever had, they were always driven, okay, to be stars or be famous. Some of them just want to be famous, but they want to be stars. Bryan Adams, people say about Bryan Adams, if he got up in the morning when he was 14 or 15 or 16 years old, before he picked up a guitar and said he wanted to be a rocket scientist, he'd be the best rocket scientist in the world. That's the type of guy he is. So he pulled me in. I mean, this is a young, skinny kid, wasn't the most attractive kid in the world, right, singing a disco song. I mean, you know, but it was his energy, he said, who could sit in my office and sit there, listen, I'm going to be the biggest star you've ever had. That's after Backbeat Turner, Love Boy, some of those acts. He says, I will be the biggest star you've ever had. Michael Bublé will sit there. That's all he wanted to be since he was 12. You could go down there when we went down to see him in places like Bubbaloo and that. He was doing that. We just didn't know how to package that. Why do people want to hear the standards? Why do people want to hear this type of music? Do they want to hear that type of music? Well, in the end, they did, because that music travels well. And our demographic, when we started with a 40-plus demographic, is now, because of that, we got on the radio and became a little bit bigger, he now has a length and breadth of people from 18 to probably 65. Nobody else can say that. There's a time in your life when you'll do anything for anybody to attain what you want to. And then there's the tremendous demands on. You've got to meet and greet this person. You've got to talk to that person. This person wants to sit down with you. Like, we're in Toronto. I'm leaving tomorrow for Montreal, and Michael's starting his tour in Montreal. And I mean, the Prime Minister's called. Sidney Crosby wants to meet him. Some president of Rogers Cable or whatever it is. All these different people want to come and meet you. You know, yes, maybe you should do it. Okay, now definitely Michael's going to meet Crosby, okay? He has to meet Crosby. He scored the goal. He got to show up. And he loves hockey, so that's easy. Harper, you do that out of respect for the office. But just because people got $1 million or people got a big job, we don't owe them anything. We don't have to be there shaking hands and that all the time. And it's a lot of wear and tear on an artist who has to go up there right after that for 2 hours and do a show for these people. And so we have big arguments over meet and greets and things like that, and time we have to put into the press all the time, because they will use you up and spit you out. And this is what we're seeing with artists. You get to a point where you're overexposed. You know, and you see they're doing it right now. You watch Justin Bieber. I mean, they'll get everything they can out of Justin Bieber because they know their career's 5 years long. His voice has changed already. He's in trouble. So, you know, and we're watching it with Miley Cyrus. What's Miley Cyrus really going to mean in 2012? Well, probably not that much. But I mean, you know, so I understand why they do it with the young artists. But for an older artist like Michael in his 30s, I'm trying to build a career here. I'm trying to build a career. Hopefully his career will go on a lot long after I've gone. Last year was the year of the icon, small I icon, when I tried to turn him, get him going so people knew him. Now this year is the year of Elvis, okay? So we're going across the country. We're selling every ticket in America. We're selling every ticket in Europe. We're selling every ticket in Australia. You know, it's a big deal when he comes to town. So this is what we're doing. And then we'll come up with something next what he has to do. And that'll probably go to the motion picture field, which he wants to do. And he's done some of that work, so it's not a stretch. So there's things that we've got to do to keep him moving forward. And you know, that's what you want. You want to keep moving forward. You want to keep challenging him. He wants to keep challenging himself. But he's the last of a breed, Pia. There's nobody out there like him. He's the entertainer. He's the showman that a lot of us grew up with as we were younger, because you had to be that when you were that type of artist. Now you can get up there, just play some songs, look at your feet, and not be that entertaining. But he's completely one of a kind. And if we keep him that and we keep him up there, he'll have a big career. I'm a cheerleader. I'm there to support him. I'm there to listen to his problems if he got problems. I'm there to fix whatever I can fix in his show or in his head, what he wants to do. Talking about him. I'm the one guy on the artist side, the only guy on the artist side. The rest of their paid guys, that tour ends, they'll go to another tour. Record company has a lot of people. manager. At the end of the deal, Michael put it on his album. At the end of the whole career is over, be me and him in a rowboat fishing. Everybody else will be gone.
And now it's time for our very own comedy conductor, Maestro Maliha.
Despite being a tone-deaf barbarian when it comes to music, I've learned throughout the years to be able to appreciate the bad songs with the good songs. And I put bad in air quotes because what I think stinks, you might think smells like a rose. That's why we don't have one flavor ice cream, we don't have one type of car. That's why we've got variety of women. Oh, varieties of women. I was at the playground with my kids the other day, and one of the mothers actually said, "Oh, my daughter loves Justin Bieber. I can't stand the kid." Really? Who are you to judge? You're not supposed to like Justin Bieber. Your daughter is. She's 6. He's aimed at her. You are a 45-year-old mother. You're not supposed to like Justin Bieber. And if you do, you're creepy. This is the way music has always been. Do you think when Donny Osmond was singing about puppy love, people were saying, "This is the future of music"? Donny Osmond is what Jesus would be like if he was nicer. Throw away and burn all my Bob Dylan albums. We've got a new war hero coming through. There was a time when people said that Elvis Presley was nothing more than a pretty boy who just ripped off black artists. The Beatles were a boy band that was going to be a flash in the pan. Kurt Cobain was that young, depressed kid who just needed to get a job and a haircut and to get over it. Whereas now, upon reflection, I think it's safe to say that you couldn't say any of those people were anything but a true musical legend. If you would have told me 15 years ago that Justin Timberlake was going to become an international icon, I would have said, "What you talking about, Willis?" Because I was very slow in the 90s. I still used 80s catchphrases. So I think it's safe to say that no matter what, whether the song is good or bad, cool or not cool, we can all learn to appreciate the work that goes into the craftsmanship. Well, everybody except for William Shatner. I have no idea what that guy was doing. Rocket Man. Actually, that is kind of cool when you think about it. Until next time, I'm Patrick Maliha, and this is the Maliha Minute.
Vancouver's ultimate variety. Virgin. Virgin Radio 953. Virgin Radio, Vancouver.
Community College since 1903.
The stars step out with MC Red Robinson leading the way, all to benefit the Zajac Ranch for special needs children. For tickets, call 604-739-0444 or 604-629-8849. December 5th at the Arts Club Granville Island.
Vancouver's ultimate variety. Virgin. Virgin. Virgin Radio 953. Virgin Radio, Vancouver.
Now I have a musical treat for you. When Jerry Doucette came into our studio to lay down an interview with me, it was so great to see him again. He's still a guy who can fill a room with charisma and charm. So after we did our on-camera chat, I managed to persuade him to share some of his new music with us. So his manager ran out to the parked car, brought back his guitar, and quite off the cuff, Jerry played for us a new song that he's written for his wife Maggie called "You're a Miracle."
We're doing it? Darling, I believe in miracles, and God knows that's just what you are. And when I look in your eyes, I feel wonderful. and the smile on your face says it all. And I have been blessed with your loving heart. No one can take that love from me. You came into my world like a shining star, and in my soul you will stay eternally. You're a miracle, it's the only word I know. You're a miracle, and I will always love you so. You're a miracle, heaven sent you down to me. You're a miracle, and as long as I have breath, you will always be the greatest part of me. And I can't deny you're the treasure in my life, a precious gift to be loved as time goes by. And if all that I knew how to say could be said with just one word, you will always remain a miracle. It's the only word I know. You're a miracle, and I will always love you so. You're a miracle, heaven laid you in my arms. You're a miracle, and as long as I have breath, you will always be the greatest part of me. You will always be the greatest part of me. Oh, thank you. Thanks, Pia.
Hearing Jerry's new song makes me think of the line from the famous poet T.S. Eliot. You are the music while the music lasts. Thanks to our wonderful guests for sharing their intimate stories of their life in music. And thanks to you for watching us. I'm Pia Shandel. Bye for now.
Pia would really like to know how you feel about the show. Please email us your comments at pia@thepiashow.com.